Hoonigan hat.
Hello there, and welcome back to TakenOffAir. We are back for another week, and it's not just me on my own this week. We do actually have Stefan and Jay here with me, thankfully, with Jay just vaping away there, if you could hear that. I've just seen a plume of smoke go up the screen.
I'm trying to quit smoking,
Jay.
that's why.
Jay, you know how I was just going to say Kyle likes talking to himself anyway, so it's not like it was an issue. You know how we keep saying we're just figments of Kyle's imagination?
Yes. Kyle took his
That means
medication
last week he was just on medication.
I did actually say that, to be fair. A man with the whole you guys were in prison for all the shit that was said about like politics and stuff, and then linked it into a prison topic, and then just went with nah, it's just because I've taken my meds for once. But no, I
missed the prison topic.
For those of you that listened to last week's episode, it is a nice, smaller episode, and it will be just me talking on my own and talking about a prison in, I think it's Norway or somewhere, where basically the prisoners get paid to leave their cells because the cells are so comfy.
Yeah, they do. There's a supermarket in there as well, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a supermarket. They've got their own communal kitchen and living room and stuff between 10 of them. So it's basically just a 10-person house share between 10 cells in a prison. It's just a house share.
Shells.
It's a house share.
It's a prison for hermit
where
crabs.
you get paid to live there. So it's ideal living. No wonder nobody wants to leave. No wonder people commit crimes. It's a maximum security prison. But it's the most chill place in the world.
So you were saying they get paid to leave the cell and that and blah blah blah. Imagine if your job was to get up the morning and leave the house. I imagine that's what's going to happen to Kyle at some point. He's going to feel like his job's just to leave the house because he doesn't want to.
You know, this is the thing, right? It's not like they have to work or anything for the money. They literally just have to leave the cell. They just have to go and socialise. And the guards' rooms are tiny and cramped and absolutely shit to encourage the guards to interact with the prisoners, and it's being quoted as being one large family and everything like that. So, like
how backwards is that though? The prisoners get paid to leave and be sociable. The guards get made uncomfortable so that they leave and be sociable.
Yeah, that's literally how it is. Like the prisoners have got TVs and like little areas and stuff in the cell. The cells basically sound like an apartment, like a studio flat, compared to the guard towers, or the guards areas, which sounds like an actual jail cell. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's mad.
Stefan, where's your camera today?
I'm off camera. I'm not in my usual place. I had a clear space to record. I've got shit going on.
He's lying naked recording his OnlyFans while doing this. It's just his OnlyFans is muted.
I do have my tits out, but that's because I'm too hot.
You can subscribe to OnlyFans by going to onlyfans.com/TakenOffAir.
We discussed this and told you to stop doing this.
Although you can visit our website, TakenOffAir.com. It is back up and running and alive, and you can actually look and see what we look like. Other than this, although the photos are a bit out of date.
Yeah, it's so out of that's like way before Corona hit. Now it's like 2018, wasn't it?
I think it was before that, wasn't it? I feel like it was Jordan's birthday.
It was when I could see my knees.
Before we all got a bit chubby.
What do you mean, all?
I blame lockdown, but I just got a head start on it.
I'm surprised. It's like I've finally lost enough weight where I can fit in my pants again. So I'm going back down to size 34-inch waist, and I'm so happy about it.
I tried to put on 32 shorts the other day. It did not fit.
Funny thing is, as skinny as I am, last time me and Jay traded pants, Jay could fit in my jeans.
With you wearing them.
None of you believed I was a 28 to a 30-inch waist, and I had to try Cal's clothes on to prove it. And everyone's
it's because you're a little chubby teddy bear. But because
Kyle's calling you a fat
guessing because I'm taller than you, I'm a little bit wider while still being skinny or some shit. I don't know.
I think it's the length. You've got them fucking Mr. Long-legged mech.
That's the only thing that didn't fit me is the length. When I got tailor-sized when I did try Kyle's pants on many moons ago. I was a 36-inch chest. I was a 28 to a 30-inch waist. I was a 27. I've always been a 27-inch leg.
Do you know what, Jay? I think we just underestimate you. I think we think you're a little bit fatter than you are just because you're short.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably the thing. I wouldn't be surprised if you. I don't know. All the BMI shit's really weird because I'm barely in healthy weight.
Doesn't really work. If you do BMI with rugby players, it'll tell you that every single one is overweight, even though they're some of the fittest people.
Oh no, yeah. My boss used to do rugby, and his BMI was always you're obese, but it's just because he had to be stocky because he was a rugby player. Also, he was quite short for a rugby player as well. Anyway, so it was like he was stocky, but he was quite short. But he was constantly classed as obese by the BMI and doctors and stuff because he had to be the stocky.
You know. Since we're being nice to Jay, can I continue with being nice to Jay?
Is it being nice or being our kind of nice?
It's genuinely being nice to Jay.
Okay.
I'm scared.
You know how throughout life we always took the piss because he cannot say wasp.
He cannot say most things.
Yeah, but he really can't say wasp. It's always, what is it, Jay?
It's a wasp.
Oh, he says it first time? Right, he usually says wasp, so that went wrong. And especially when he's not thinking about it, he usually says wops. But in Old English, it was wops, and then people got it mixed up and changed it round, and now we wrongly say wasp. It should be WOPS.
So all my life, I was saying it correctly. It just
your whole life you've been right, and every single other English-speaking person on the planet's been wrong.
Yep.
It's just that you were saying the Old English version. You're just an old Englishman at heart.
Which is the correct. He's just an old man at heart.
I mean, to be fair, we've all got like antiques and just random junk. Although Jay's is more creepy dolls and mine is more antique microscopes and stuff. And
that's
compasses
at the
and
minute,
things.
My collection is baby prep corner. The house is full of baby stuff, and I've got like clean clothes here ready to put away because Courtney's a babe. She didn't take them up. because it was supposed to be cleaning day, I got the Hoovers out. But I haven't hoovered yet, as you can clearly tell, since the shoes and flowers.
I do love the fact that your child was hoovering the sofa the other day while listening to I Prevail.
It was cute. It wasn't I Prevail, it was Slaughter to Prevail.
Oh, that's the one. I knew it was Prevail.
I'll get it right.
My daughter is awesome. I've brought her up right to listen to deathcore.
Which is funny because she can't even say the names right yet. Because of child.
Yeah, it's not Slaughter to Prevail, it's Otter to Prevail. Otter to
I knew that. I was going to say something different, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely adorable.
You should hear her try to say Nyota's murder.
To be fair, it sounds like a struggle for even you to say that. So
I thought he said Nyota's murdered.
It's probably what Courtney says.
Don't pick on her like that.
Yeah, I'm not picking on anybody. I don't pick on people apart from the
world.
world.
No, we're going to be nice. You just stop picking on Jay. We're going to be nice to Jay this week.
We haven't picked on Jay.
We've established that theme early on. We'll be nice.
The closest I've picked on to Jay is called him a tubby little teddy bear, and that's a compliment because he's just cuddly. That's
a backhanded compliment.
It is. No,
it's a nice compliment.
You're basically saying, Jay, you're basically going, you little fatty.
Jay,
well, I'm not going to be into you.
Jay,
no, he's cuddly. He's much more cuddly than me. You've got me, Skeletor, who if you try to cuddle, you end up getting a bone in the face.
Kyle, an actual skeleton is more fucking cuddly than you.
I find it rather ironic, to be honest, because like Kyle is the whole love. He has a heart. Right? As much as he portrays that he's a heartless cunt, Kyle has a really soft side when it comes to partners and relationships. he'll be like all loving and all cuddles and all everything. And there's me who's
It's called psychotic manipulation.
And that's me. I'm misinappropriate.
That's how we get these victims.
Hate people touching me, yet I've been built to be cuddly.
To be fair, I hate people being behind us. Like I can.
You weren't saying that the other night.
If I know they're behind us and I know what they're doing, I can sort of put up with it. But if someone just randomly walks behind us, I absolutely hate it.
Kyle would be terrible in a pantomime. When they go, "Who's behind you?" You'd already know. You'd already turned around and stabbed them. Because when you like look in his direction when you're standing behind him or sitting behind him, he doesn't like it and he starts twitching. Then turns around and looks at you.
Yeah,
like he's angry there.
No, in all fairness, Kyle would not be the protagonist in a pantomime. He'd be the antagonist. So
yeah, that's
would be.
Everyone be shouting
behind them.
Yeah, Kyle's the one that creeps up.
Kyle's a creep.
Thanks.
Jay was taking it in that direction.
I wasn't taking that direction. I was just saying that Kyle is more of an antagonist in a storytelling
life.
Well, not life.
I was wondering how long it was going to take to get to that. How long it was going to take to Kyle's creep.
So it's gone. So this week we're nice to me. We're being dickish to Kyle.
Yeah,
you're picking on Kyle more.
I mean, to be honest, the science department at work has a skeleton that I'm highly tempted to nick because it is.
It's a light looking in a mirror.
It's a little bit shorter than me, but it is basically looking in a mirror.
Sick. Do you know there's a chicken that's like Kyle?
Jay's honestly cracked himself up.
I think that's quite quick for me. What do you mean there's a chicken like Kyle?
There's a chicken that is completely black from head to toe, jet black, black feet, black claws, black beak, black eyes, and even when you cut it, when its meat's black, all its organs are black. It's fucking Kyle as a chicken. Devil chicken.
I thought you were going to say I'm black there. It's like, well, I'm obviously not.
No, just black soul. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
We do not condemn racism in this podcast. However, we hate everyone equally.
Black chicken.
We hate everyone equally.
Jay. We do not condone racism. We condemn racism. We do not condemn. Jesus.
No, Jay's always condoning the bad things.
Jay's saying we condemn. We do not condemn racism. It's like they're doing it.
Right, dudes, get on Google. There's a National Geographic thing.
Oh,
I accept.
That means leaning forwards.
Piss and shit. Right.
When we get an office, I'm having a fucking Bluetooth connected keyboard and mouse, so I can just wander the room.
Called I Am Samani. So AYAMCEMANI.
Yes, Jay, one of those.
What are those?
You should get. I should send you the link to the Amazon for this because it's literally like £25. It's wireless mouse and keyboard, and I've had to charge them both up yesterday because they died, and the charge holds for me about 7-8 months.
I mean, I do have a wireless keyboard and mouse. It's just I lost the little dongle for one of them, but I don't know which.
Stefan,
I can't find his little dongle.
I have no idea what I'm searching up on Google. So far, I am on Universal Credit for some reason.
I'm on National Geographic. What am I looking for?
Yes, it's I Am Samani. So AYAM.
What I am?
AYAM. In a space.
I am Samani. This.
Yes.
Oh, fuck's sake! The chicken.
What the?
Yeah.
Fuck? Okay.
It is fucking awesome.
Why is it called I Am Samani?
AM space.
What? AYAM and then a space. What are you doing?
AYAM.
Jay's writing that I am.
Oh. I see it.
I am AYAMCE, and then it'll probably come up.
Yeah. How the hell are they surviving if they only produce 80 eggs a year?
I mean, probably because nobody wants to eat black eggs.
I was going to say, when was the last time you had black chicken?
I'm guessing it's very much the type of thing of nobody wants to eat them because they don't look very tasty because they're a goth chicken.
No, I think it's because they're extremely expensive. They're thousands of pounds because they're really, really rare, and chicken breeders like them because they're like amazing to show off and show if you've got one.
I am Somali meat tastes like regular chicken meat, but many claim it is a bit more savoury. It also tends to have a softer texture once cooked, making it easier to cut. While some diners might be surprised to find the meat stays black when cooked, the rich pigment is believed to help make it taste even more delicious. Right.
That's cool, isn't it?
I love the fact that there's 4 different breeds. You've got the Indonesian, an Indonesian one, you've got a Vietnam one,
Jay.
and a Swedish one. I wonder if you could.
Kyle,
I wonder if you could become.
No,
it's a condition of fibromyalanosis. I wonder if you could cause that dermal hyperpigmentation in a human and just make like a completely black human, with black bones and everything.
Opposite of like albinism when is that what it's called? Where you're albino, where you're white, where you lose pigment.
Yes. So if you can do that, can you swing it the other way and just make yourself like black as night?
The Dark Knight.
No, black chicken.
I've been doing some research, and it turns out if Batman was real, when he deployed his cape from terminal velocity, he'd still hit the side of buildings and floors like 50 miles an hour, so he'd die.
His cape just acts as like a glider thing, so yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, but
also, or a parachute.
Also, the terminal velocity of a human is around 72 miles an hour. The more you know.
So, national speed limit. Is that why the national speed limit's 70? Because it's the terminal velocity a human can go flying?
Well, yeah, no, well, it says about 72, but does that mean if you...
That would be interesting. What speed?
Fell past a speed camera, could you get done speeding?
Well, that, but also, what speed... Like, if you're driving in a car, at what speed would you have to be going for you to crash through the windscreen and hit terminal forward velocity?
Well, no, because that's irrelevant then. So terminal velocity is how fast you fall when you're falling. So it's free fall. It's gravity, how fast gravity can pull you through the air. It depends on your size and your weight. But if you're doing that, Kyle, then you could be going, if you were in a hypersonic car that was doing 350 mile an hour, then if the car stopped dead in an instant, in a second, and you went through the windscreen might slow you down 10 mile an hour, but you'd still be doing over 300 mile an hour. It's not terminal velocity.
Well, no, but
the wind would slow you down.
That's what I'm sort of thinking is the crash through the windscreen would slow you down. You'd also be slowed down by probably drag resistance and other factors. So, like, how fast would you have to be going for a human being to do the national speed limit while flying through the air after a crash impact?
I think if you were going fast enough to go through a speed camera and break the national speed limit, there wouldn't be enough of you left after you hit the windscreen to carry on.
Possibly.
Since we're very soft organisms.
I kind of want to try and figure this out. Like, if you took the windscreen away, what speed would it be? If you had the windscreen there, how much of you would be left after hitting it? And also, like, would you be able to make it through the windscreen and all that sort of stuff? And...
Jay.
Oh.
What?
Jay.
What?
Do not get kidnapped by Kyle the next few months because it's going to end up very badly for you.
This is probably like the only episode I'll be here until like after the 6th. Before I'll probably be here. My next episode I should be here because I'll be kidnapped and down to London again.
I'm not about episodes. I'm just saying, be vigilant. Don't get kidnapped by him.
I mean, to be fair, that's the thing. I was looking into flying lessons, so I could test.
Oh god, what with humans out of cars?
I could test. I figured it out. Okay, I figured it out. You would have to spend £3,300 to be able to learn to fly a Cessna. Because there's a minimum requirement of hours, and you have to pay like £100 and something per hour. So the amount you would need to spend to be able to learn to fly like a Cessna in normal conditions during the day and everything is about £3,300. So I could learn to fly for £3,300 for TakenOffAir and run experiments such as dropping things from said plane and seeing at what height, like. There must be a height at which you reach the maximum velocity. So at what height would be when you actually reach the maximum velocity? Like the minimum height you have to be dropped.
Right, okay,
is that the minimum height up?
That's how high a normal plane can fly up. It's 7.5 miles up in the sky. Because me and Ashley were talking just about the Mile High Club for some reason.
Yeah, and that's like how high a plane go, but it's like if you had a Cessna and you threw someone or maybe something of the same weight and everything off it, what's the minimum height the plane would have to be for the human to reach maximum velocity?
It wouldn't have to be very high. You reach it quite quickly, especially if you kind of tuck yourself in and go like a torpedo. Because obviously, if you're like small surface area, you go faster.
If you're gonna go like a torpedo, you can do pretty quickly. But I'm talking about like in skydiving where they make themselves big to try and slow themselves down and everything.
Well, yeah, I get you, Stu, but then I don't know how similar it would be, but your terminal velocity would be lower then.
Can we not just?
Because you wouldn't get to 70.
Can we just like say that we're not getting Kyle playing? If anyone,
can we just Kyle?
No, we are getting a company plane that I am going to fly around the country.
Dude, I'm completely on board with this, but I've got one thing.
Kyle's on
I'm convinced we can do it cheaper. What about microlights and gyrocopters?
I think it's the same. I think they've all got a minimum amount of hours you have to do to be able to do it.
Right, but a gyrocopter doesn't even have an engine.
I think, to be fair, that would probably might work.
And a microlight's a big fan under a parachute.
That might work, but the issue is you wouldn't be able to go you wouldn't be able to travel very far or like land in certain places, that sort of thing. I think.
I mean, you land wherever the fuck it's landing. I don't think you have much of a choice.
But to be fair, I want to learn to fly. I want to learn to sail as well, so we're gonna have a sailboat as well. And just like fuck off over the Atlantic. Well, just go, fuck it, I'm away.
You've got more money than me, so if you do flying, I'll do sailing.
I don't have that much money to spare. Fuck off! I'm trying to get a house.
I want to sail. You don't need to if you got a plane.
Maybe when we start getting paid for this shit and have an office and everything, I'll be able to afford the lessons.
Yeah. Everyone listening, support our Patreon so that we can kill Kyle in a plane.
Buy our brand new merch on the merch shop on our TakenOffAir.com website. Yes. We have a limited edition tie-dye hoodie, which is absolutely gorgeous and is about the colour of this little octopi fellow.
It comes in 3 different colours. It comes in black tie-dye, navy blue tie-dye, and red tie-dye. They're all handmade, they're all hand-stitched, and
by a Vietnamese 5-year-old.
And if you wear the red one and you kill someone, nobody will know because it'll just blend in.
That's what Ashley said.
It does look like it does just look like someone's been murdered and spilt all over a white jumper.
And if you buy the black one, you can kill one of them black chickens and no one will know.
If you buy the black one, you can go around pretending you're Batman, but you've got a giant TakenOffAir logo slapped on.
Yeah, and don't jump off buildings because you'll die.
And if they do well...
And if you do jump off buildings, have someone recording so they can tell your terminal velocity.
Yeah, have a speed camera set up.
whilst you're wearing our merch... This will be a sponsorship to anyone who wants to wear our merch. You don't even need to buy the merch. You need to prove to us that you're a skydiver and you're willing to do this for us, and we'll give you free merch. We'll give you the limited edition hoodie that's worth £100 if you just go get this done.
Is that how much it's fucking worth?
That's how much these limited edition hoodies are for. It's worth £100, and we'll do a tie-dye cap for you, so you match.
Kyle always checks the pricing of the items before he promotes them, as you can tell.
Well, no, it's because I didn't actually go on the website and look at the items. I just saw the screenshots Jay sent, which didn't have the prices in.
For fuck's sake, dude.
I haven't had time to have a look. I was busy having a nap before the recording.
Oh, so that's why you were late.
No,
You son of a bitch.
No, actually, I was already awake by then, but I had an hour nap beforehand.
I wish I did. I'm knackered. Too tired to put up with your shit.
Screw you. What, too tired to try and figure out how to get me a plane and you a boat and just fuck up? Actually, that's the thing. If you sail and me fly, we can do like the Top Gear races to places, but you'll just like I'll just fly over the top of you and just like chuck stuff
Was
at
that
you.
what we're gonna call it? Or we're gonna have a segment just called Races to Places?
Yeah, races to places. Jake can drive his Jag all over the place.
You don't notice that every single thing we do is named completely accidentally.
Of course. How do you think
We've
we
never
got this
purposely
name?
named anything.
That's how we got this name.
The last time we purposely named something, it was Bullshit Studios, and we got took off everything.
Yep. We got taken off air, but yeah. Actually, Jay, you've got that now. Soundboard, please.
Oh
God.
Oh, wait.
He's closed
You've caught him napping.
I was...
Not that one.
That's not the right one. Right, we need a new sound engineer. Jay!
There we go.
The moment's gone.
He got it. He was only half an hour late.
Right, so if you want to support the show, so that we're going to hire a sound engineer that is competent. I mean, stop it, you're doing it.
No, not you.
I think he pressed the button and then it got stuck on autoplay.
Oh, God. Autopilot?
Yes, well done, Jay. Give yourself a round of applause. Now turn that off because I know that it can go on for like 5 minutes.
Dude,
it's the most obnoxious round of applause in the world because it's the old school TV studio. Yay! Going on for 5 minutes after our show's finished.
I was finding it hilarious that we have a laughing track,
which we don't need.
We do need. Who doesn't love a good laughing track?
No, anything that requires a laughing track means that it's not funny. If a show requires a laughing track, it means it wasn't funny enough to actually get laughs. Which is why it's quite awkward when you look back at old TV shows like Friends and stuff, and you see some of the scenes with the laughing track when you understand that it is a laughing track, and you go, "Yeah, it's not actually that funny."
Do you know how? Well, I was talking about this before. Sorry. I'm going to loop you back.
You're going to loop us back before
I'm going to loop you back.
Shenanigans with terminal velocity and stuff.
Because on the 4th of August 2019, there was a article, right? And there was somebody eating chicken nuggets, right? So this is the future. This is going into the future here, right? There's somebody eating chicken nuggets. The chicken that it came from was called Ian.
Okay.
Which is a fucking awesome name for a chicken. Ian. The special thing is that Ian was still alive.
Is this the whole thing of you can cut off a chicken's head and it'll wander around headless for ages?
Because then you would have a chicken nugget made of a chicken's head, Kyle, and I don't think that's prime nugget and meat.
Well, no. This is one thing I've always wondered. The body stays alive. Does that mean the head stays alive as well? Which means you could have a little chicken head trophy just looking at you, pecking at you, going, "What the fuck's going on?" while it's looking at its body wandering round.
It doesn't stay alive not long, Kyle.
Basically, some scientists had got stem cells from the base from a live bird. They harvested them, nurtured it in a nutrient-rich broth, placed it in a steel container called a bioreactor. The cells then replicated and grew into meat genetically identical to the animal, and in 2 weeks, it was compared to 7 to 9 weeks it takes a real bird to be fattened before slaughter. It was ready, and the taste is exactly the same as the chicken, although they do say that the texture is slightly smoother than the real thing. But what I find particularly bad about this is that I'm fine with that. That's quite cool and that. when they were fucking doing this, right? Ian was sitting on the fucking table, wandering around.
I mean, why not?
It's same that eating.
I know, but they're not actually eating him. They're eating his
It's
cells.
still morally wrong.
It's sort of like if you took some of my cells and grew an arm, and then beat the living shit out of someone with said arm. It's technically not me killing them because it's just a copy of my arm. It's like a photocopy. It's not the original.
That does not work. You cannot clone your own arm and beat the shit out of someone. That's still your fault, Kyle. You're still responsible. It's not going to stand up in court.
I mean, to be fair, I saw a picture the other day. I don't know when it's from, but it's of someone at a convention charging their prosthetic arm, and it looks fucking cool. And it just made me want to cut my arm off and get a prosthetic arm.
Can I just make a statement?
Imagine walking into a room and just going, "Can I borrow your phone charger? Why? Oh, can I just charge my arm?"
Right. This is just a slight conspiracy theory I have, and
yes.
Oh Lord.
Right. It goes along with the subject of beating the living shit out of someone with your arm. Right.
This doesn't sound like a conspiracy theory.
It's my type of conspiracy theory.
Right. Basically, when you're born, your parents sign your birth certificate. Your birth certificate is basically a formal identification document that states that you belong to a government or belong to a country, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it? Does it actually have the country?
Really, no.
Doesn't it not have the country or anything on
it? It has your nationality.
Name with your parents' names.
It does have your nationality.
So therefore you belong to a certain country. So therefore, it's a company of you belonging to this company, right? There's this country.
Yeah, because if you didn't, sorry, Jay, just before you carry on, Kyle, if you were born in England or in the UK and you didn't have a birth certificate, then you could not have British citizenship until you lived here a certain amount of years, because you wouldn't be recorded as being born here as a resident.
I know that if you don't have a birth certificate and stuff like that, but I never realised that your birth certificate had your nationality on it. I always thought it was just like the child's name and then the two parents' name, basically signing saying we confirm that this is our child.
Yeah, there's a bit more than that,
right.
But yeah.
So when you clone yourself, clone does not have a birth certificate, so therefore the clone is legally not a citizen of anywhere, right? So if you get your clone and your clone beats the living shit out of someone, does that mean it can't get charged for assault because it can't stand trial underneath any act?
It would still get charged because they would just give it temporary citizenship in the country that did it if it has no citizenship.
It wouldn't matter anyway, because if you were Australian and you went to Germany and killed someone and you got arrested and tried in Germany, I know you'd still be trialed as an Australian citizen, but you committed the crime under German law on German soil, so you would be subject to German punishment.
It's how people get away with stuff in maritime law. I will say, however,
this is something
your brain.
Yeah, but you'd still be arrested and tried under the law of that area. You just wouldn't have a nationality assigned, or you'd have to...
It basically means you couldn't be extradited to a country because they wouldn't know which country to send you. So if you committed a crime in Iraq, you would have to abide by the Iraqi laws, and you would be given Iraqi punishment, because you wouldn't be able to be extradited to England for an English prison or anything. You would just suffer the consequences there, whatever their law system would be.
Okay, right, but I figured out a loophole here now.
To be fair, your brain went a very different way to mine, because I thought you were going to go, if you have a clone and it doesn't have a nationality, and you decide to kill the royal family of a certain place, you can't get tried for treason because you don't know, you're not part of that country, because you don't have a nationality, so you technically can't commit treason.
I found a loophole. Do you want to hear my loophole?
Can I offer a third way? Because you know what I thought he was going to say? If you clone yourself, could you kill someone and just go, oh, it was my clone, it wasn't me?
I mean, yeah.
So we've all had different ideas.
If you can prove that you've got a clone, then yes. Because it's like the whole twin brother contingent where twins have been arrested and they haven't been able to tell which one's done what because the DNA matches both of them type thing. It's sort of
but No, yeah.
As long as you can prove that you've got a clone, you could technically get away with it, even if you're the one that killed the person. If you could prove that you've got a clone and convince people that they did it.
But if your clone was somewhere else and you had an alibi that somebody seen you here at this time, so it couldn't have been you when really that was your clone, then it's not like you're throwing your twin brother under the bus. It's just your clone.
Yeah.
You're just using a product, in which case you could get many clones and cause havoc across the world, and you would have multiple eyewitnesses seeing you all over the world.
I've figured out a loophole here. I've just really figured out a loophole.
Have you?
Yeah. Going off my original statement, I have asked. Okay, so if I make a clone out of the person I want to kick the living shit out of, like, use Kyle for example. If I took Kyle's DNA, made a clone of him, got Kyle's clone to beat the shit out of Kyle, would it be charged for assault?
It would technically count as suicide.
Right? No, he's not killing you, Kyle. He's not killing you.
Well, no, because you just said that if you took my clone and got my clone to kill me,
no, I said
would
beat the
he
shit
be
out
charged?
Would he be charged for assault?
Oh, okay.
It specifically say beat the shit out of, not kill.
In which case, would it just be attempted suicide?
It would be. I'm not going to talk like suicide, Kyle. I'm just curious, right? If you got my DNA, you made a clone of me. You got my clone to beat the living shit out of me. Then my clone disappears. My clone got charged. Can I get charged for beating the shit out of myself?
That's what I'm saying. It would technically just come under like self-harm or something, because that's all you're doing. You're literally harming yourself. It would just be self-harm, technically.
Right, but would anyone believe
it might be coerced self-harm. I don't know if there's a law saying that it's illegal to coerce someone that's into self-harming or something. Probably is, but it would probably be coerced self-harm, but it would still come under self-harm because you're the one doing the damage to yourself, technically.
Okay.
Or I would be the one doing the damage to myself.
Stefan, hypothetical.
Well, you're not, because it's not you.
Stefan, hypothetical question.
Hmm.
If Kyle came to you all black and bruised, and you know for a fact he got the living shit kicked out of him, and he told you that someone cloned him and his clone beat the living shit out of him, would you believe Kyle?
I mean, the amount of crazy shit that we usually talk
Honestly,
about. No.
I was gonna say the opposite. I was saying knowing that Kyle is the only person in the world that this could hypothetically happen to. Yes, I probably would. He'd be the only fucking person in the world that could beat the shit out of himself accidentally by using the clone.
Right. So, if Jordan, for example, if Jordan came to you and says,
"Oh God, no."
Jordan,
yeah, would you believe him?
No.
Right. So,
no.
Have I just figured out the perfect way to get rid of a bank robbery is to clone all the employees, get the employee clones to beat the living shit out of the bank employees, then kill...
They came in and robbed us. Who was it? Well, it was me, but...
The perfect
you would have to go all the DNA.
The perfect bank heist. Clone all the employees and convince them to steal the money.
But technically, you wouldn't even need to go and do bank heist. You could just take over like a Fortune 500 company. You could just like clone Jeff Bezos and just put your imposter in place type thing. I mean, isn't this legitimately the storyline of G.I. Joe?
No, but like
like sort of cloning, not cloning exactly, but like plastic surgery to make him look identical to the president and then replace him.
The man's got a point.
Right, but let's put ourselves in this like scenario, this hypothetical scenario, Kel.
I will say before we put ourselves in a scenario, as you just called it.
He does.
Oh fuck! What was I going to say? I was going to say something there.
Must be a lie.
Oh no! Yeah. It was you know how like you're cloning them. Would they be completely identical in mindset as well, or could you like sort of since they're just cloning stuff, could you possibly coerce them? So if you cloned Jordan, could you convince him, the clone, to eat green?
In all fairness,
I don't know.
If we're going,
sorry, I was going to say technically. Oh, sorry, go on.
Right, if we go off from the actual cloning mechanisms and science we actually have today. They successfully cloned a sheep, identical sheep, but the sheep had its own mind. it was proven that the sheep didn't have the same mindset as the original sheep.
I want to know how the fuck they tested that, by the way.
Yeah, right. So what I was going to say wasn't a human. From a scientific, so from a purely, I suppose, kind of almost physicsy point of view, from a purely scientific point of view, every single cell is the same as from the host. You're copying that cell, so every single brain cell would be the same. So you'd think it would think and do the same thing in the same way. But from a biological point of view, no two brains think and work the same. So it would be impossible to.
Also, technically, like the clone wouldn't have things that have influenced it during its upbringing. Like Jordan or any original person has had things influence them during upbringing. They've had the parents, they've had tragedy and events and bits and pieces that have sort of made them who they are today. While the clone wouldn't have anything of that.
Are you saying our friendship to Jordan is a tragedy?
I'm saying our friendship to each other is a fucking tragedy. This thing is a tragedy.
Influenced them.
This whole show is a tragedy, to be honest.
But to be fair, though, Kyle, then you're saying it's I get what you're saying. But then if every cell's the same and that cell copies it, then the cells that remember them tragedies would still be cloned. So then their memories would be cloned.
So would they feel the same experience? So
that's what I'm saying.
If you had two, like the clone and the original sitting in the same room, and you replayed like a traumatic event, would they both react in the same way, or would the clone be slightly more disconnected because of the fact that yes, they remember it and everything, but they didn't technically live it?
So, well, it doesn't matter because they would feel like they had, because that memory would be from the person that did live it, so it would be them remembering it like they've lived it. You would have one of two scenarios, either every single cell so you would have either like from a physics kind of point of view, you've copied every single cell, so every cell's the same, in which case they would be exactly the same, they'd remember the same, they'd act the same, they'd speak the same, they'd think the same. Or it would purely be somebody who looks exactly the same but thinks completely differently because they're a different entity.
I suppose somehow what we've done is wandered from terminal velocity and black chickens into what is the soul? Basically, here is what is the soul.
Yeah.
If this is your first episode of TakenOffAir, this is a weekly thing. Tune in every Friday.
No, it is a daily thing.
This is a daily thing. We just don't record daily.
We just try and save it for a Friday.
Go to www.takenoffAir.com to listen to previous episodes, or watch us live at www.takenoffAir.com/live every Friday.
If we had an office and this was our day job, you would get this shit every day because we would just be non-stop talking about stupid shit like this, by the way. So make it happen, people, because if we get an office and this legitimately became our day job, we would have so much of this stupid random shit. We would have whiteboards full of conspiracy theories and random shit all over the room.
Oh, it's a bleak future.
To be fair, I feel like I would want a whiteboard and a blackboard next to each other just so I can have a chalkboard. Like I really want a chalkboard, just like a slate.
Fucking chalkboards.
A slate chalkboard.
Why?
Because it's fucking gorgeous.
Chalkboards aren't even slate anymore. They're just chalkboard paint. You can just paint a wall, chalkboard paint, and just write on the walls.
No, I want to find like a massive roof slate. Like I want to go to like a roofing company or something before. I'm assuming they cut up slate and like make it a certain.
We're gonna get thrown out the office because Kyle's gonna draw a penis on the roof.
I want like a massive slate just on the wall. I know it'll probably smash and all sorts, but I just want it there. It'll be lethal as fuck if anybody walks into it, which is half the fun.
I've got a scenario.
I was going to derail the show even more.
Right before we came off this topic. You know how, like Kyle says, we're going to take. I'm going over the perfect bank heist of making the employees' clones kill the original employees and do the bank heist for us.
Well, not kill them, just intimidate them to the point where they are shit scared of them fucking selves. Yeah. So when they go to the police and say this is the person that robbed the bank, all they can do is say this is the person that robbed the bank, but it wasn't me.
Yeah, but you said get a Fortune 500 company and replace the boss.
Yeah, clone Jeff Bezos, send him into space, don't let him come back, but pretend he did come back.
So let's put ourselves in a scenario. Me, you, and Stefan have somehow marvelously gained the ability of science and gained the ability of technology to create a clone of Jeff Bezos.
What do you mean we've gained the ability? All we need to do is read this. I mean, he is a bozo. All we need to do is read up and do some research. I am pretty sure we have the capabilities.
He sent me a nice little email, a private invite email from himself.
Fuck off.
No, but basically, after we are lazy cunts. Let's put our hands up and say we're
lazy on certain things. We have been known to, if we get obsessed with something to the point of deciding, fuck it, we're going to do it. We do it in style and tragedy at the same time.
Yeah, but we always fuck up somehow. Look at this podcast. This was supposed to be like a weekly podcast. We stopped halfway through for 6 months. Came back for season 1, then left season 1 at the end of last year.
To be fair, a couple of episodes of us fucking about when it wasn't taken seriously, then it was like, no, we should keep this event every week.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. This is run perfectly smoothly. It's perfectly organised chaos.
Yeah. Nothing ever goes wrong.
Nothing ever goes wrong in this. But
it is completely professionally unprofessional.
Yes.
Nothing can go wrong if you don't have a plan in the first place.
But exactly.
After we fuck up out cloning Jeff so many times and we actually got perfect, then we literally have to withhold the standard of making him the CEO or to make him big boss of this 500 fortune company and get rid of the original Jeff. But we still have to somehow maintain our clone Jeff to the standard where we have to keep him alive and we have to remind him to send us money. Then we have to make up an excuse why for his taxes. Look at me, Amazon doing taxes. Hey. But it's a hypothetical scenario. In this scenario, Amazon pays its taxes. We have to make up an excuse why they're sending us money.
Well, that could be very easy. We could just be put down as business partners for this grand scheme idea, which never bears fruit because things fall through in bits and pieces. Like make paper trails of like, oh, we're trying to do this, but it's just fallen through. We can't get it to work properly. Everything like this, and like just bits and pieces like that. Because if you think about it, every company, I don't care what they say, every company like Amazon and Tesla and stuff like that will have people that they are sending money to in accounts who don't actually exist, who are literally just there for a paper trail to say this person is getting money when they do fuck all.
So we're going to be Amazon's new like offshore bank account.
Yes.
No, you're thinking too small, man. Are you ready?
I mean, we could just make the clone hand the company over to her after a certain amount of time, like become benefactors type thing.
Beneficiary. This is what I was going to say. What you could do is if you clone them, you could then force a clone to sign the company and everything over to you, right? But obviously it's a clone, so it might not have his exact signature on that. But you could get important CEOs and important people to witness the signing, because you would get people to witness it.
I feel like people would be extremely suspicious if the CEO of a massive company just randomly signed it over to...
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It looks and it sounds like him, and it's just like, as long as you got a couple of witnesses to sign it, that it would check out, then yeah.
Yeah, I'd still go with the whole be a benefactor, like a beneficiary, and do like small payments for a couple of years just to lead up to it, just to make it look less suspicious when he eventually hands it over. Otherwise, there's going to be so many investigations, and it's going to be like a massive waste of time.
Right, but then every time somebody starts investigating, you could just clone them and then kill the real one.
That's so much work, though. Like, once...
Yeah, but you'd have so much money, it wouldn't matter. You could have a team of people just doing that automatically, all the time.
I know, but then you would like, get found out, because someone would figure out, hold on, these guys can make clones and kill people. What about
when
but then
you just clone them and kill them before they got the word out?
It's too much work, man. Just clone one person.
Kyle, if you like cloning...
If you can
if there's two things
person,
you would love, it's cloning and killing people. What's your problem?
It's true. However, I would love to just... like... To do something like that, I would love to take the lazy route and just clone the one person and do all that stuff, and then never have to worry about it again. And then you could just have an army of clones of like yourself or something, just to like, if you can't be asked to do something, your clone does it or something like that.
Yeah, but life's not that simple. Sometimes you got to clone and kill 100 people.
I feel like if we got an army of clones, we would end up wiping out the entire fucking world. Because we would just be cloning everybody and killing everybody, and it would just get to the massive point where no one is their original anymore, apart from a select few.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that, but I would clone a couple of important people, make them sign shadow letters.
Oh yeah, definitely. I see. Clone the royal family.
Just repeatedly saying clone isn't helping.
Clone the royal family, or like
Kyle.exe has crashed.
The government. Kyle.exe has crashed. The government, or like a royal family of somewhere.
Boris Johnson.
You can
actually make them useful.
No, you can get them to give you the country. You can get a country. You can own a country because you can clone the royal family and everything and get them to sign over the fucking deed to the country.
Just imagine if I was the queen. Well,
or like
king, wouldn't
you get them to say that you are now the new royal family, or we are now the new royal patrons, or even just be like adopted into the royal family, just because we made the clones adopt way into the royal family by bullshitting some very thin, stretched like relativity. Like, oh, I'm Queen Elizabeth's third nephew on her uncle's side, twice removed by the grandchild of fourth removed from da-da-da. So it's like such an obscure link that nobody's ever really going to look into it, because it would be such a rabbit hole. But it's still a legitimate royal family link.
To be fair, you just keep calling me German, so I could just claim to be like a second cousin or something.
Exactly. To be fair, I did get reminded today by my lovely girlfriend, thank you very much, that my fucking autism was made by a Nazi to decide whether or not to either kill the person with it or put them to work.
What did they do?
Put them to work.
And aren't you glad that was the outcome?
Don't know.
Oh, I wasn't even banking on the response. We hadn't rehearsed this.
We just spent 40 minutes talking shit. We haven't even hit a topic yet.
What are you talking about? One of our topics and things was innovation or money or some shit. So we are perfectly on topic. We are innovating by taking over countries via clones. We can take over the world eventually, because we can just clone every royal family and like every government and get them all to hand over the countries to us, so we could each own like a segment of the earth.
Right.
So I've got an important question for you, Kyle.
Give Jordan like the Americas. I'd have
not all of them. South America's quite good. We'll just give him,
just give him the USA, and we just split the rest between.
I want South America. All I'm saying is you can make a lot of money.
I've got a very important question for you, Kyle.
Yes.
So if we get adopted by the Queen of England, do we possess their unnatural life?
Unnatural
life.
If you become a cannibal with them.
Or find the Fountain of Youth.
Still lost it.
To be fair, I love all the stories where it's like, oh, this is like the liquid of life. We finally found it, and then people find out it's just normal water, and it's like, what water's the liquid of life? Well, yeah, technically.
You want to know what the liquid of life is? Mead.
It's like it's like the whole thing of you are technically 2 minutes away from dying, but every time you breathe, you reset the clock. Every time you inhale. So
that's true. Ooh, do you want to know something about dying and breathing and resetting the clock?
Yes.
Do you know when you sigh? You know when you just sigh and you go...
Yes.
That's saving your life.
The death breath.
If you didn't sigh, you'd die.
True.
And that's because... Do you know why?
Isn't it also like yawning and stuff? No. And
Well,
I know that
maybe.
when you exhale, you're releasing the toxic gases that would be harmful to you, and you don't want in your bloodstream, such as the carbon dioxide and stuff like that. I'm guessing a sigh is also something to do with resetting something in your neurons or something, and expelling something that helps equalize or some shit.
Not really. What it is your lungs have got loads of little branches and they have loads of tiny, tiny, tiny little air sacs called alveoli.
Yes.
Or alveoli or alveoli or ravioli or something like that.
The ravioli.
The ravioli, basically, they collapse. When you're breathing normally, they just collapse. There's certain ones that kind of drop down and they don't get reinflated. And more and more and more collapse. And basically, every now and then you'll sigh at something. You'll be like... And that sigh is like, it doesn't seem much, but it's a big enough breath to create enough pressure to kind of pop them all back open again and open up your lungs properly.
Is that why I yawn so much?
Do it. It's not yawning, it's sighing, but you do it subconsciously. So you do it subconsciously every 2 or 3 minutes, and you'd never even notice. It's not like a proper big, like, oh, for fuck's sake, kind of sigh. It's just a little sigh in your breath that you don't notice.
I see you say that. I usually do quite slow, deep breaths anyway, so...
Yawning, nobody knows why we yawn. They thought for a while it could be to cool down the brain, but it's not. It doesn't make sense. There's no reason for us to yawn. The same as there's no reason for us to sleep. There is no reason why humans need to sleep as long as we do. There are animals that only sleep half an hour every 24 hours and stuff and are perfectly fine. But for some reason, humans need sleep, and if they don't, they go crazy and die. And if we don't get 8 hours sleep a night on average, we go crazy and die. And nobody knows why. There's no reason for it other than you letting your body rest. But any other animal, or most of the animals, could be still and kind of shut down to basic function without actually sleeping and still get enough rest.
I always thought the functionality of a yawn was like you were storing up too much carbon dioxide and you weren't getting enough oxygen, so it was like a reset button because you inhale quite a lot and then you exhale for a long time as well. So I thought it was like a reset of equalizing the pressures.
Well, it could be, but no one knows.
But I mean, to be honest, I'm pretty sure my yawns are just my body's attempt at dislocating my jaw, because every time I yawn, my jaw nearly locks. So,
fucking snake.
Honestly, it's really annoying because I can just feel my jaw cracking every time I yawn. It's bloody annoying. But, the fuck were we talking about?
Before I was trying. I don't
know, but like, I would like to point out that this is the first time we've successfully able to stream to Twitch live.
Yay!
And we have
Twitch.
And we have 3 people. Yeah. We've got 3 users sat in our chat watching us talk shit.
Do you know what film?
Hello, Academy Impossible, Girly, and Violet's TV. I'm glad you're enjoying this shit right here.
Now you'll scare them off because you've named them.
I've named them. I've named and shamed them.
Right. Anyway, do you know what film turns 25 this year?
No.
That might seem vague. There's a new version coming out in the cinema soon.
Is this Fast and Furious?
No.
I don't... Pirates of the Caribbean?
No.
I don't know. Films...
Think retro films from our youth.
Films always seem so much like older or younger than what they actually are. Is it an original animation that's being made live action or something?
It's technically part animated.
Technically part animated. Is this Candyman?
Nope.
No.
Is it going to be something stupid like Avatar 2?
No, it's not Avatar. I know Avatar's 25. You think, right, you've got to think it's nearly as old as us, Kyle. So it's a film we grew up with. It was already made before we started watching films.
There wasn't a film.
I don't know. I can't think of any films.
This was a TV series. This is what I'm thinking is Clifford the Big Red Dog.
It's not Clifford the Big Red Dog.
I miss Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Space Jam.
Oh, that's what.
Space Jam.
They're making a new Space Jam.
I know,
but I've got a little...
I know they are, but
sorry, they've made a new Space Jam.
I'm not really... I don't know if I want to watch it because they've changed a bunch of stuff.
Did you know, though, that Michael Jordan is a really good method actor?
Oh, here we go. It's the whole thing of he trained and had a 10 or 20-year career in basketball just to play the role or some shit.
Yeah. In order to prepare for his role, actor Michael Jordan played 9 seasons of professional basketball and won 3 national championships to get into character. So yeah, that was a little bit of a troll, but I do have facts about it. Well, it's not so much facts as something hilarious. So, right, you all know the film, yeah?
I know they've changed Lola Bunny.
Right.
A lot,
I'm not bothered about that.
Compared to the original Lola Bunny, but that's because nothing can be sexualized anymore.
Right. It doesn't matter. I'm not bothered about that, but
I hope they haven't changed Bugs.
Dude, you're getting distracted. Think of the original.
I am thinking the original. It was a fucking masterpiece, and their website is still up and running.
Yes, it is, but they have found something even better than that. Somebody applied the actual laws of basketball to the game in Space Jam to see how fouls would be flagged and stuff like that. And he's so matter of fact that it's fucking hilarious because he just doesn't give a shit. So I'm gonna read through them. There's a few, but I'll read through them. It's quite funny. So part 1, first half, 20 seconds in, monster bang. Apparently the monsters have names according to the movie's IMDb. Backhands Bugs Bunny almost immediately after tip-off. That is a foul, and a flagrant foul to be more specific. If Marvin the Martian actually did his job and officiated the game, he could and should have designated this a flagrant 2 foul, which results in the offender automatically being ejected. 47 seconds, Daffy Duck passes the ball to Granny, who was sitting on the Toon Squad bench. In pursuit of the ball, all the monsters dogpile on top of her. Well, there was no rule against diving after a ball like that. In fact, that's considered a good hustle. It didn't really matter because the ball was clearly out of bounds and therefore dead. 1 minute 31 seconds.
Didn't the Martian spend most of the time with his helmet over his eyes so he couldn't see, though?
Pretty much. 1 minute 31 seconds. Sylvester the cat tries to swallow Tweety Bird, his own teammate, Paul. There is nothing in the NBA rulebook that explicitly says that you can't eat your teammates while the game is in progress. However, due to the way our society views cannibalism, that's probably far from encouraged. 1 minute 50. Foghorn Leghorn is incinerated by Bang. That is easily a flagrant 2 foul. It's also attempted murder, which is probably punishable by law.
Oh, Christ.
2 minutes 16. I don't know what the mouse's name is, but Monster Blanco crushes him with the ball. This is less of an issue on the Monsters playing unfairly, but more about the fact that a mouse possibly has no business playing basketball unless it's with other mice. The risk of injury is far too high.
Isn't the mouse Speedy Gonzales?
No, it's not. It's the little fucking squeaky mouse. I don't remember its name. 2 minutes 25.
I can't remember any other mouse apart from Speedy Gonzales.
I'm sure he's called fucking Timothy the Mouse or something like that, dude. Anyway, 2 minutes 25. Lola Bunny uses Monster Pound's face as leverage to get at the basket. Well, that's not necessarily a personal foul. It kind of counts as unsportsmanlike conduct, which is probably worthy of a technical foul instead.
He enjoyed getting stepped on by Lola.
Probably.
You have to sexualize Space Jam.
I had a massive crush on Lola Bunny when I watched that film. Fuck off.
I'm glad you
didn't. I think everybody who watched that film did.
I'm glad you didn't let that little secret out during your school years, Kyle.
2 minutes 30.
To be honest, I think in the school years, everybody fancied anything that was female, so nobody gave a shit.
That's true.
Right. 2 minutes 38. Pound straight up bear hugs Jordan to slow him down. Well, it is extremely effective. It's still probably a foul. Part 2. Beginning of the second half. This is where it gets funny because obviously shit gets. 16 seconds. Bugs drives a courier scooter onto the court. I'm fairly certain that you're really not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
19 seconds. Bugs steals the ball from Pound while on the scooter. He doesn't dribble the ball while it's in his possession, which is travelling. That's a foul. Then again, travelling is very rarely penalised by actual NBA referees these days, so he probably would get away with that one.
I love it when sports
he then
have got
gets
rules.
pissy about basketball.
I love when sports have rules, but people don't give a fuck about the rules anymore because everybody started doing it. I noticed this on Formula One actually the other day. You know how real life Formula One teams, one teammate will go out a little bit ahead of the other, and they'll sort of give them a pull so that they've got slipstream and everything in quali and bits and pieces.
Yeah.
On the virtual game, you can get kicked out of the squad for doing that and banned from playing the fucking sport because you're not allowed to do it on the eSports, but the actual professionals can do it.
Yeah.
Sports are pissy, man.
Are you ready, Kyle? Because this is getting to... You're going to like these next few.
Go for it.
Wile E. Coyote rigs the Monstars... Yeah, 35 seconds. Wile E. Coyote rigs the Monstars basket to explode when Bupkus tries to score. There is a lot of things wrong here that I really shouldn't even have to explain.
I mean, can we all agree? We will all agree any sport would be more interesting if things exploded while it was happening.
Yeah, definitely. But then, 42 seconds. Elmer Fudd and Yosemite Sam play homage to Pulp Fiction in a family movie, which is questionable, and shoot out Bupkus before he rightfully tries to beat up Wiley for blowing him up seconds ago. It's unwise for a player to bring a weapon anywhere near a crowded stadium. Just ask Gilbert Arenas, right? I looked up Gilbert Arenas. He's a basketball player who was in the locker room, opened his locker, had 4 guns, and then threatened to shoot another player, got arrested.
Why not? America.
Yeah. 1 minute 2, Sylvester uses a fishing rod to snatch Pound's shorts right off his body. Not necessarily a direct violation of NBA rules, but it's probably not a good idea to do that. However, it probably would be very funny to see.
Also, the amount, the amount of skill to do it.
He was so pissy about his but he's up for the fishing rod. I don't get him.
So what we've learned today is that Kyle wants to have Michael Bay as a sports commissioner.
Not Michael Bay, but I just think it would be a little bit more interesting in sports if there was like just extra bits to it. So you could make it an extended part of the sport, like extreme basketball or some shit like that. But it's just a case of there's an element of danger to little bits. Like you could have Formula 1 death race where they're going around the track, but every once in a while there's just a banana on the road or some shit. Formula 1 Mario Kart.
Yeah, I like that as it goes on, the guy writing gets more pissy about the rules that's been broken. So 1 minute 14, Foghorn and Sylvester prop up Porky Pig to help him, quote unquote, dunk the ball. Full stop. Not allowed. Full stop.
Just not allowed.
1 minute 21, Jordan uses Pepe Le Pew's order to incapacitate the Monstars. He of all people should know that biological warfare is frowned upon in almost every setting. Why should Michael Jordan know about biological warfare?
I mean, why not? Can we just, I'm sure in basketball you're allowed to basically push off another player's shoulder to get a boost to be able to dunk and shit.
Yeah.
Aren't you? I'm sure you're allowed to do stupid shit like that.
I don't know.
Because then you'd be able to be lifted to be done.
Basketball's
like not completely lifted, but like be able to sort of spring yourself off. So like just like use your hand to like push off someone's shoulders to get extra height.
It's technically a non-contact sport though, Kyle. So if you touch another player with any part of your body, you're technically fouled, even if it's your team.
What about even?
Basketball seems like a sport I could get behind, to be honest. I first fancied watching it.
I thought you were going to say, it's a game I could get behind. Do you want to play it, lads? And us just looking over at the shortest member of the group deciding basketball is now his sport.
No, I've always fancied watching it. It's just like I've never been able to catch it on anything.
I've always fancied trying to play it, but every time I've tried to play it, I've never been able to understand the rules for tackling, because the rules for tackling seem to be fucking ridiculous, because you can't actually do anything to get the ball off the opponent until it releases from their hands. Like, if someone stood there with it in the hand, and you can easily just flap it out the hand, you're not allowed to do that, apparently. But if it's mid-bounce, you can just swat it across the court perfectly fine.
Yes. You're not allowed to do that, but if they're standing with it in the hands, they've then stopped, they then can't go anywhere else without passing it, so you can try and block the pass. That's the point. It's stupid, but, Anyway, are you ready for the pissiness to escalate?
Yeah.
Pepe kisses the ball at the hoop. You can't even touch the ball if it's on the rim, so this is an offensive basket interference. 1 minute 43. Daffy paints Pound's butt red, which provokes a bull watching in the game in the stand to rush the court and go him. All of this is bad. It's also a very damning indictment of the lack of security at this game.
Who let the bull in?
Yeah. 1 minute 58. Tweety violently attacks all of the Monstars with karate. Every single strike is a flagrant 2 foul. Tweety manages to commit 7 fouls in 5 seconds, yet is not ejected. Home court advantage is real here.
I mean, if you had something as small as Tweety and he managed to assault that many people and do damage, you wouldn't punish him. You'd just be sitting there giving him a round of applause.
2 minutes 19, Mr. Swackhammer assaults Marvin the official, which is grounds for ejection. But since Marvin doesn't seem to give a shit about any of the other blatant violations on the court, why should he start now? He's the one getting slapped around. And then, third quarter, there's just 2 bits. It says, from 7 seconds to 54 seconds, the Monstars aggressively assault every member of the Toon Squad in a variety of ways, including pimp slapping Jordan to the ground and using Tweety as a golf ball. All 5 of them should either have fouled out or been ejected for flagrancy, which means the Toon Squad would have automatically won due to forfeiture. Then at 2 minutes 33, all of the Monstars jump on top of Newman, Stan Podolak. Not a foul, but again, worthy of stopping play and starting the game with a jump ball.
I'm so surprised that someone sat down and actually spent time.
I know, it's brilliant.
Like,
I mean, people will spend time doing anything. People will do random shit like that all the time. There's people that have made stat blocks of stat blocks of stat blocks.
So, that's dedication.
Are you ready?
You got to think that's dedication to sit down and note down every foul.
It is high dedication to sit down to decide I'm going to do this and then not give up halfway through while constantly pausing a film to be able to write down. This is the thing. Happened.
It's not only not giving up, but apart for the fourth quarter, 1 second in, he finally breaks and has a Kyle rant.
Yes.
Fourth quarter, 1 second. Marvin tells Jordan that if they don't find a 5th player to put on the court, the Toon Squad will forfeit, which is true. The only problem here is that after all that has occurred throughout the evening, this is the only time that Marvin does anything remotely close to what a referee is supposed to do during a basketball game. Players have been set on fire, shot at all night, and the one time he decides to interject is to inform Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time, about a basic tenet of the sport, which he surprisingly seemed a bit confused about when he heard it, but I won't question that because he's Michael fucking Jordan. Long story short, Marvin shouldn't be allowed to referee anymore after this.
It's like me about that ref we had at 5-a-side.
Kyle, this is Kyle after a rant as well. 14 seconds. Bill Murray appears. This is not a penalty. If anything, it's a reward.
It is. It is a fucking reward.
1 minute 46, literally seconds after he says, let's all play fair, Marvin is viciously elbowed by Bupkus. Bupkus should be ejected, but he isn't because Marvin the Martian has no respect for either sportsman or his own well-being, apparently. 1 minute 53, Daffy dons a football helmet and spears Pound in the stomach. That's a good strategy if you're trying to win the WCW World Heavyweight Championship, but it's very out of place on a basketball court. 2 minutes, another treat. Murray makes the dopest behind-the-back pass of all time. Eat your heart out, Magic Johnson.
Yep.
he stops his rage to just fanboy over Bill Murray.
Why not?
2 minutes 40. Bupka slaps Daffy for the 500th time this game. 2 minutes 30. Jordan straight steps on Pound's face. That is bad, but he wouldn't get a call in real life because Jordan very rarely got called for fouls anyway. And then 2 minutes 48. Bupkus and Bang attempt to tackle Jordan in midair as he attempts to make the last shot. That is both aerodynamically impossible and a foul. Result: if Space Jam were played in an official NBA setting, every player would have been either dead or ejected by the end of the first quarter. That would be nowhere near as entertaining a movie. So let's all be thankful that this was set in a world where literally anything is possible.
Also, let us be thankful that the Martian, who stereotypically makes crazy inventions that either try and just disintegrate Ray, and usually ends up killing himself. Let us be thankful that he just didn't do that within the first 10 seconds of the film.
I just love how he's like, I wonder how many fouls there'll be in Space Jam. The first quarter, a bit annoyed at the fouls. The second quarter, quite annoyed at the fouls. The third quarter, getting really pissed off at the fouls. The fourth quarter, right at the start, absolutely losing his shit, sick of the fucking thing. And then 20 seconds later, Bill Murray.
Of course. I mean, if you think about the entire premise of Space Jam, you have to play basketball in order to save the world. It's one of the most outrageous premises in the world.
Yeah. If you got Michael Jordan lying around, you challenge him to basketball. Oh, can we also point out that the whole point is that they see the tiny little fucking weedy aliens and are like, yeah, let's play basketball because they're like 3 inches high, they're not going to be able to do anything. At the beginning of this, you would take the piss out of Jay saying, yeah, the shortest guy here wants to play basketball.
I'll be Tweety Pie in that situation. I'll call it chop every fucker.
In real life, you cannot use some sort of magic hocus pocus to somehow suck the talent juice out of professional basketball players and make Jay grow 7 foot tall, gain a fucking 26 pack, and get his voice deepened by 100 decibels.
I can deepen
my also
just
voice point out
very well, sir. I have a deep voice as
the biggest problem. The biggest problem with this film,
other than everything about it,
other than everything about it, if actual basketball rules that I've just told you, all of the things that's wrong with it. The biggest problem with it technically is why would they need to do that? Why would they need to go to the trouble of stealing all the NBA players' talents and stuff when they just foul away to try and win anyway? They don't actually play the game, just foul everyone.
I mean,
so why did they need the talent in the first place? They just needed to be bigger. They could have just gotten big, like done it with like weightlifters or bodybuilders or something and become huge.
Can you imagine if they just all got Arnie?
You just say we're just going to add Arnold Schwarzenegger to the chat, like to the whole game,
to this chat.
This chat. We're gonna add Arnold Schwarzenegger to Space Jam. Just have him burst through the ceiling, going, just like go and get to the chopper, slam dunking some shit, and just fucking off.
Get to the chopper now.
Surprise sixth player for all of 10 seconds. Then says, I'll be back, and then he appears 10 seconds before the end of the film to machine gun something.
Or hide and fire and kill an alien.
Yeah.
Ooh, I've got me.
All the old school references are coming out.
Oh,
I mean, Space Jam is just one of those movies where you can tell it's like the Beatles' Yellow Submarine. You can tell the creators were off the tits the entire time, and you know for a fact that nobody knows how they managed to get the people to sign up to be in that movie, other than possible blackmail or complete and utter bribery. But it ended up becoming one of the best films of its fucking century.
Some say that they actually had to send the Looney Tunes to kidnap Michael.
Have you actually, do you know that a lot of big actors have been tricked into films they didn't really want to do? Like, Bill Murray got told that he was going to get $50,000 US to play Garfield the cat. And his response was, I don't go on my driveway for that kind of money. So they doubled the money, and it says, oh yeah, Joel Conan wrote the script. Well, Bill Murray is a massive fan of the Conan brothers script writing. So he says, yes, I'll do the job, and if they wrote it, I'll do it. So he accepted it without actually reading the script itself. He never read the script until literally the day he was in for recording the voice of Garfield the cat. Then he realised this wasn't written by Joe Conan, and he was quite upset about it. So then he realised too late, shit.
I thought you were going to say it was written by Joel Conan, but it wasn't one of the Conan brothers. It was just some guy who had a similar name.
It is someone with a similar name, though. It's not the Conan brothers. It's someone with the similar name. So yeah, Bill Murray basically got tricked into playing Garfield the cat, and he hates the film.
Okay, 2 things. 1, isn't that just the definition of do your fucking research before you pick a job? Or, read the fucking job description. If you're gonna get part in a movie, surely the thing that you're gonna do before you turn up is read the fucking script. Secondly, is this how Nicolas Cage just ended up in any film?
No, that's...
Oh, don't. Nicolas Cage is awesome because he's so bad.
He is awesome because he's so bad. I loved him as Ghost Rider, to be fair. I think it's so chaotic and mad, and the comics are chaotic and mad. It is really close to the comics of how randomly stupid it is.
Yeah. There's a YouTube channel called College Humor, and they've done a comedy skit on, Nicolas Cage's agent.
I know, I saw that,
and it's fucking hilarious. Because, the
it's
agent...
just right. Nick This is the worst film in the world. You are literally playing You do not want this part. You will say no to this part. Fuck it, yeah, I'll do it.
It says, yeah, I love the sound of it. It's brilliant. Sign me up. So it just proves the
It must be what he does.
It just proves
this
the
will
fact
bomb
that,
your career.
The thing is, Nicolas Cage is so famous for just being in everything. So you could literally just, if we have the right amount of money, we can probably get Nicolas Cage being this podcast.
There's the problem. Like,
can we just point out,
people get typecast, right? Mark Hamill got typecast into sort of sci-fi type stuff, didn't he?
Yeah.
You've got like people like Steven Seagal and like Jet Li and people who were sort of typecast as they had to do these martial art films, all that sort of stuff. You've got
I cannot just say that I don't agree with that one because he kind of became a martial artist first.
No, I know, but that's the whole thing of
you. Like a stunt double, no.
They've rarely done any sort of films where they don't use it in the films, despite the fact that, like, Jet Li is like
awesome.
He is awesome, and he could act pretty well and not do martial arts in a film. I think he actually did do a film where he had surgery or something, so he was just in too much pain to do action and stuff, so he just did a few little bits, and he was still good, but never doing martial arts. But he's typecast as being the brutal martial artist type thing. But that's what Nicolas Cage is. Nicolas Cage is typecast as
Nicolas
just
Cage,
the person who will do anything. It's like how Sean Bean is typecast as the person who his character is going to die at some point.
Yeah, that kind of ruins the film, though. It's like
straight away.
If you watch a film or TV series and you look at the casting, and if Sean Bean if Sean Bean's in it, you're like thinking, shit, he's gonna die. Someone's gonna die.
He's started trying to like accept film roles where he doesn't die in them just because he's realised that fact.
Pretty much.
Like, everybody knows he's going to die in something. He's just famous as the guy who dies in everything. I'm pretty sure didn't he die in Sharp? And that was like his longest running series and massive hits and everything. But no, he died in Game of Thrones. But like in the Sharp film series, I'm sure Sharp dies at the end of it, despite the fact that it's like the main character and it's this massive series.
Excuse you.
My phone decides to vibrate. Hi, cat. Bye, cat.
Hi, cat. Bye, cat. Is it Salem?
Yeah, there's a city. It's Sales.
The Salem witch trials.
Dobstar is just literally laid on top of the bed. He's not even in his bed. He's laid on top of it.
Because he's in fucking charge.
He's had a yawn at this. That's
his appreciation.
Like, see, cat there.
Like how the cat's just looked up as if to go, "What are you doing, father?" Anyway, we are still a podcast, so let's not focus on things that are on video.
Yeah, we're still an audio podcast.
We are still primarily an audio podcast. Which is why I try not to focus on anything visual for too long.
We just stream like live videos every Friday, and you should come join us. Come chat with us.
Interact with us.
Get brain scrambled.
Tell us, give us. Well, I was going to say give us ideas, but we don't really need you to give us ideas. Try and find flaws in our logic, because it will be fun as fuck. Join in on the chaos. If you could clone someone, what would you do? Like, how would you go about it?
Answer these questions by following us on social media at TakenOffAir. Email us at info@stepaside.org. Just so we know that you want to talk to us.
I love the fact that Jay's been back for 1 week and he's already done more plugging than any of what we've done for like the past 4 months.
We cannot plug Patreon anymore.
Oh, we're off Patreon, or we've been banned? Or
we've been banned. Our page has been took down off Patreon now.
Yeah,
Why? How?
So all those people who donated money, there's only like 5 of you, and you only donated roughly about 25 quid, which helped paid for our web hosting and keeping our shit alive for the past couple of months.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we're taking sponsorship from our own website now and our host Acast, because we're part of the Acast Creator Network. If you go to TakenOffAir.com, it says donate via Acast. Do not go to our Patreon anymore. Our Patreon is dead.
Obviously, Patreon decided that they didn't like her. We've been taken off Patreon. I didn't know that was possible.
We get taken off a lot of stuff. We've been took off Audible.
Yes. No, we're still on Audible. I'm sure we're still on, because I googled with this today and I could get on with.
Yeah, but when you Google us and go onto the link to look at our Audible, which for some reason is one of the first page results on Google, Audible doesn't have us anymore. You click on it, it redirects you to other podcasts.
Sons of bitches.
Motherfucker.
Using us for marketing. Anyway,
I mean, to be fair, when I Google with the first thing that comes up is the Apple Podcast, then Spotify, then our website, then TuneIn, and then Audible's down there.
Yeah, but if you click on it, it redirects you to other podcasts.
I mean, mine just tries to get us to actually make an account and buy, because I don't have Audible.
But according to our logistics, most people listen to us on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
Get a Samsung or thingy.
You're starting to sound like
Android.
me.
Oh, how dare our listeners use Apple Podcasts or Apple Music, which is where we're getting our most fame. How dare you listen to us? Listen to us on something normal like Spotify.
Hey,
yeah,
Spotify's like our third.
I will say, have we actually gotten any replies from anybody that we have emailed? Because we have emailed a lot of people.
We have. No.
You know how you said we're supposed to be an audio podcast? Now you're just sitting talking about where people listen to it instead of just continuing the podcast.
I know.
That's why no one listens on Android. They turn it off when you start chatting shit.
Should we email the Queen again? I want to set up.
Email the Queen. We sent a letter to the Queen. I've sent a letter to the Queen, and we haven't heard a response yet.
I want us to be the only podcast in the world that has a direct fucking communication line with the Queen of England, or the Queen of somewhere, or the royalty of somewhere. I want us to be the only podcast in the world that can say we have a direct communication link to royalty.
I'll do one better for you, right? I have direct email of the Chief Technology Evan Glentless of Amazon, Jeff Blankenberg.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Tesla. I thought Elon Musk got back to it about going to space.
Elon Musk is not going to send with a space.
He's going to send with a space.
Only person that ever got back to us was Cadbury's, and they basically told us to fuck off.
Who told what to fuck off? They'll not be saying that when we've taken all the Freddos.
Right, so
our Freddo nation shall rule supreme.
So are we just? I'm gonna go on to this like that, right? And
you have to find the Jeff Bezos email.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to email Jeff Bezos or Blankenberg or whatever his name is.
Anyway, Kyle, you know how the Earth isn't flat because then everyone would be on fire, gravity and magnetic poles wouldn't work.
Yes.
That's because it's not flat, as we know.
Of course.
Do you know what it is?
It's an oblique spheroid.
You're very close to an oblate spheroid, that's correct, but no, more specifically.
Well, more specifically, we are marble in space.
No.
Jay, be very careful, you are sharing the screen while logging into your account.
Yeah, you're not the smartest sometimes. The Earth's hollow.
It technically is, because we've just got a fiery core in the middle.
No, because if you believe the whole oblate spheroid, then it's densely packed like magma and shit like that, but it's hollow and people live in it.
Oh, fuck's sake.
It's hollow and giants live there, and there's a little sun in there.
Just because you've seen Journey to the Centre of the Earth and the remake.
That's funny. That's funny because I've never actually seen the films.
Really?
You never seen Journey to the
I
Centre of the
genuinely
Earth?
haven't seen Journey to the Centre of the Earth.
I got the 3D I got the 3D edition of one of the films, and I've never watched it in 3D because 3D is one of those technologies that was absolutely shit at the time because you just used to get the paper blue and red sunglasses that didn't do anything but gave you a headache.
Right. So Edmund Halley. Do you recognise that name?
No.
He's of Halley's Comet fame. Said in 62.
Still no.
You don't know what Halley's Comet is, dude?
You're talking to the person who sometimes forgets how many planets there are.
How many planets are there?
I want to say 9, but I'm not sure.
Pluto doesn't count.
They keep on changing whether Pluto's a planet or not. It's really annoying.
No, yeah. Hey, Rick and Morty's now sorted that out, but they got pissy.
I mean,
anyway,
technically, wouldn't it just be classed as a moon of the sun because of the size of it and stuff?
Then isn't that what a planet is? All planets are moons of the sun, Kyle.
No, I know, but it's the whole thing of where a certain size and density and stuff, but Pluto isn't. Pluto has the sort of size and density of... It's closer to a moon than it is to the classification of a planet, in which case it is literally just one of Sun's moons, compared to being a planetary body like we are. So it's... Even though we are moons of the sun, and then our moon is also a moon of the sun, Pluto is would be technically the official moon of the sun.
Yeah.
No idea if that made any sense, but it did in my head.
Anyway,
don't gloss over that.
You're confusing the shit out of us, man.
I mean, Jay's submitting a question to NASA, so you know.
Yeah.
Hello.
What's NASA going to do? NASA hasn't done
Kyle's
shit for
just
years. Also,
for me.
Why are you contacting NASA? They're the American Space Agency. Contact the UK Space Agency, which has a very boring name because it's literally just called the UK Space Agency.
Yeah, because they spend loads of people in space, don't they, Kyle? Anyway,
we've only had one astronaut in space.
The Earth is hollow. The Earth is hollow, and in the center there's a tiny little sun. And because it has such good atmosphere in there, trees are 19 feet tall, and people are about 10 feet tall. This is how the world works, Kyle. Inside, on the underneath, they live on the underneath. And do you know who else lives there?
Come on, then.
Do you know who else lives there?
Yes, come on, then.
Hold on, I'll find it.
Fuck's sake. Don't say, do you know who else lives there while trying to stall for time?
I was stalling, you son of a bitch. You were supposed to try and guess.
I mean, Jay's vanished, so... Are you going to say Santa?
I got that wrong. Humans are apparently up to 15 feet tall.
Are you going to say Santa Claus or some shit? Jay's vanished. I don't know if this is going to ruin the recording or not.
This may ruin the recording, but we'll just, if he's going to just email fucking... whoever he was emailing. NASA.
It was emailing NASA, yeah. To be fair, there's only been... I'm sure there's only been one UK astronaut on the ISS. Get us up there.
The Germans, Hitler didn't die, he escaped. And he went into Hollow Earth and made a deal with the people of the Hollow Earth, so that it's full of Germans and Hitler as well.
This sounds like such a B-movie plot, like the fucking Germans on the moon. It's like the Nazis are on the moon thing. Oh, fuck's sake.
But this is, yeah.
Oh, one second, so, I'm getting a phone call from Jay.
There's a highly advanced...
Hello there, I kind of froze.
You kind of froze and died. Is that why you vanished?
Yes, we are aware.
Oh, I vanished, am I?
Yeah, you vanished on here.
Oh, fuck.
We're still recording, but we're vanished.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll rejoin.
Okay, maybe NASA just decided you weren't, just to kick you off before you even submitted a question. They just hacked into your computer and kicked you off.
Probably. Do you think NASA's listening in on what they're saying?
I mean, if NASA's listening in to what we're saying, there's no way in hell they're sending us to space after all this Pluto bullshit and Hollow Earth bullshit.
If they take me into space, I'll take them to the Hollow Earth to meet Hitler.
I'm back.
Hitler lives Hitler lives in the middle of the Earth, Jay. The Earth's hollow, and he lives on the underneath.
It's a B.
Oh,
it's the B movie plotline.
That's that stupid Iron Skies.
Yes, that's where they're on the moon.
Kind of, yeah. But yeah, kind of, but no. The inside of the Earth's hollow, in the center there's a tiny little sun, and everyone lives on the underside, the opposite. So like Australia's in there. That's just a bit I've added. That's not part of the theory.
One second, isn't Iron Skies the film where they literally try and turn a black man white, and it just looks like a black man with a bad, like a Michael Jackson style pigment thing, and it's absolutely ridiculous? Or is that a different Nazi film that I've watched?
Hitler was also worth $5 billion. Did you know that? And his fortune was left to Bavaria.
Have you seen the most recent thing in the news about Hitler? About how Hitler's Stonehenge, as they nicknamed it, is apparently the landing site of a circular aircraft that could have been shaped as the traditional UFO, because it's the Stonehenge, and then underneath it's got secret tunnels and stuff that would have been used to vent the flames and gases and stuff. So it was literally meant to be an aircraft landing platform.
Huh.
But like the concept art of what the people think the aircraft would look like, it's just if you got the traditional UFO flying saucer, and then just put Nazi logos on it and a few guns.
Traditional UFO flying saucers are real anyway. Like, as in they exist and they fly, and you can style it out if you want, but they are like American, like the army and shit, the American military or NASA or whatever, I'm not sure who, but basically an Area 51, so it'll be to do with the military and with NASA. They can't actually make disc-shaped craft that fly and hover and act like what flying saucers would act like. It's just they're not just going to go out and fly them around, because then people will be like, "Oh my god, aliens!"
I mean, you can make anything technically. Yep.
Yeah.
We've had boats that are round, so.
Yeah.
Oh, does that mean there might be cases of someone saying there's a UFO in the water if they've accidentally seen the Russian ship that was round? Was it Russian or somewhere else?
Wouldn't it be then a USO? Because it would be an unidentified sailing object.
They could have just thought it was a crash one.
Successfully written.
There are more planes underwater than there are submarines in the sky.
I mean, I would fucking hope so. Imagine seeing a submarine coming flying towards you.
Imagine if you crashed your submarine and just went to the moon.
That sounds like a GTA thing that you could do. Just crash a submarine off to the moon because you've hit a curve.
Can you not remember the old cheat that was moon gravity when you touched another car, it would just float away?
Yeah.
And like going on about like San Andreas, yeah. Anyway, sorry, Jay, we've become distracted again.
I have written a statement for NASA.
Is it a request to send us to space?
Yes, it is. I've got a 250 character limit, so I had to be careful.
I mean,
they've limited him before you even got there.
I mean, if Jeff Bezos and Richard Branson can go to space, we can.
Yes. Only Branson got to do with this.
Because he was in the news earlier. He's trying to beat Bezos into space. He's announced the Virgin flight of the Virgin fucking space shuttle, and it's going to happen. I think it was something like a week before the Amazon one. So it's legitimately he's just went, no, fuck you, I'm going first.
Can I just take a second to realise, right? You know how we're like, sorry, Jay, but just I'm quite annoyed at this. You know how we're like, oh, everyone has to save the planet, everyone has to do their part. It's a matter of time, in the next 10 years or so, I think, that everyone in Europe will be forced to basically drive an electric car because petrol cars are bad for the environment.
All the rich people are pissing off to space.
Millionaires are flying fucking planes and rockets. What is more polluting than a rocket? I reckon I could drive every car I'm ever going to drive and have for the rest of my life and still not make enough pollution to counter that one fucking rocket. Yep. Sons of bitches.
But that's how it works. That's how life works. I mean, it is like a film storyline, isn't it? That everybody else is just suffering on Earth while the rich are fucking off to space. I'll get all the world governments together now and intervene and go, you can go to space, you can do what you want, but the rocket has to be electric powered because everyone's cars has to be a stupid cunt. I would love that if they managed to make an electric power
fucking milk float and fly now.
I mean, to be fair, one of the topics for today was going to be a rant about how we could spend millions on useful shit instead of football as contracts and stuff.
Yeah, because of what I said.
Where's the fun in that?
Yeah.
So for non-visual listeners, if that makes sense, for our
audio listeners,
basically,
just
for
audio
listeners.
Because of watching the viewers, you dickheads.
Kyle is an enabler, and he has told me to get in contact with someone else.
I am not an...
So
don't just brand me an enabler. I mean, I am half the time, but don't just brand me an enabler.
Yeah, Kyle is not an enabler. He's more of an encourager.
Yes.
He's more active.
We've emailed SpaceX and Elon Musk a few episodes back asking to go out to space.
Also annoyed the Queen, NASA... who else can't?
No, that's
parent
the first
company,
time.
The CEOs.
This is the first time we're emailing NASA.
All right, I thought it would be.
I've got 250 counter limit, and the subject is ask NASA. Questions are coming. Dear NASA, we are a podcast that is on a mission to get a podcast played out of this world. We messaged SpaceX and Elon Musk, but we haven't received any responses of yet.
You sent it.
Hopefully, you can help me. All the best, TakenOffAir. And you're watching me now. Click submit.
Jay, right, for a start, I'm not watching you because I can just see a blank screen with the microphone symbol.
Yeah, you're not actually sharing the screen. Secondly, don't mention the competition when saying...
Yeah,
that's basically like trying to get a job at Tesla. No, sorry, that's like trying to get a job at Ferrari and going, I tried Mercedes first, but they wouldn't take us. Or trying to get a job at a clothing line like Gucci and saying... I tried to get a job at Prada first, but they wouldn't take us, so will you accept us?
Yeah, what you've done there is you've went, hi NASA, I want you to play my podcast in space. You weren't my first choice, but you'll do.
Well, we're just going to work through the list. Eventually, we'll end up with a fucking Ugandan space agency going, you were 100th choice, but
They'll try and charge you $52,000.
My uncle in Uganda owes me this much money. How about you do him a favour and just play our podcast in space instead of making the money of him?
Right, anyway.
UK Space Agency.
You should have phoned...
You're looking at the UK Space... We can get our podcast on a submarine.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Whoa.
Instead of going up, go down.
That's how Kyle lives his life.
Like, there must be like a scientific research centre. You know how it's like, we want our podcast to go to the Arctic, so we'll have to travel to the Arctic and that sort of thing. Bottom of the ocean, there must be like a research sub somewhere in the ocean or something like that. Or I know for a fact that there's an underwater research station in Florida. We can get our podcast there.
Jay,
did you know our space agency is called USCA?
It is. It's the United Kingdom Space. Space. I can't remember.
UKSA. United Kingdom Space Agency.
One.
All right.
This is a United Kingdom
sailing agency. We'll have to put that on a quote.
What? Why go up if you can't go down?
No, if you can't go up, go down. Kyle Harrison, 2021.
Hey.
I mean, why not?
Also, my brain nearly called you Kyle Kyleson for some reason then. I have no idea why.
Kyle Kyleson. I like it.
So the last thing on the UK Space Agency's website, landing on Mars
is don't contact us about podcasts.
British-built rover. And basically, it's just a balloon.
Yeah. The UK Space Agency has done fuck all.
Ever.
Like, there's a reason we've only ever had one astronaut on the ISS, and he wasn't, I'm pretty sure he wasn't actually British. He was an American with British nationality. No, I'm sure he was like British
I found an email.
I'm sure he was American with British nationality.
I was going to say, no, I thought it was the other way around. I thought it was a British guy who moved to America, got American citizenship, and went up on NASA.
It might have been. It was something like that. He went up with a different agency, but he was still technically British.
Yeah, I'm sure he was born in the UK, but he went to NASA.
He chose to be British on his thing or something. Imagine if Scotland had a fucking better space program than England, just because we're in the Victorian period and trying to send them up in hot air balloons.
The Scottish space program is just a bunch of strong Scottish lads with big, massive tree trunks, with another Scottish guy wearing a spacesuit holding onto the tree trunk, and they just throw them up in the air.
Toss them to space.
I have the official email account for the UK Space Agency.
It's going to be something stupid, isn't it? I feel like it's something stupid. It's
actually quite...
Well, the email that Jay's about said, yes, it is.
No, just like the UK...
The best thing is,
NASA
doesn't have any phone numbers, but the UK Space Agency does.
It's because we're so small. Like, I'm pretty sure our UK Space Agency is just an office in London somewhere.
That sounds well.
No, it's Reddit.
Yeah, like we do fuck all.
Info at ukspaceagency.gov.uk.
They get no funding, so
request for space mission.
Fuck's sake.
I feel like the only time we're ever going to get taken off air in space is if one of us buys Kerbal Space Program and makes a taken off air rocket.
Kyle,
I know,
if we do,
I know Kerbal 2 is coming out soon, so...
Kyle, if we get our podcast in space, taken off Earth...
Yes. That'll be what it is. It's taken off Earth if we manage to get it in space.
Yes.
One day,
anyway,
one day when we stream stuff... We will stream Kerbal Space Program, and it will be the only time we actually manage to get in space.
Kyle creating plans for the future. One day when we stream stuff.
Yes.
Anyway, was there other things you wanted to talk about since Jay's just emailing fucking people?
Well, we could talk about the fact that everything useful is under fucking funded because people decided that a footballer's worth nearly 200 million instead of, actual scientists who can cure fucking cancer and shit.
I meant more, have you got another topic, another rant?
That is the fucking rant. Why would you waste that much money on someone who kicks a ball around for sport or drives around in a circle or anything like that? I get that it's leisure and people need to have entertainment and all that sort of shit, but they don't need to be paid that much. The sports were originally invented so that you could fuck around at the end of a workday and shit like that. It was a hobby. It wasn't a profession. Why has it gotten to the point where we spend more on sports and things like that than we do on the actual things that can improve human life? We could have habitats underwater, in space, cure cancer, and probably extend the human lifespan by 100 years
in water and space.
Purely if we took all the money that we spend on stupid shit like that and focused it on scientific research and creativity, things like that. If you could fund a scientist's research for life with probably less than one football player's salary.
Anyway, but it's because football clubs are run by wealthy individuals or wealthy businessmen, whatever. They're run privately, basically. And money put into them is private money, and they will pay that much for players because they know that they will get more than that back off TV deals and sponsorships and competition winnings and stuff like that, all funded privately by different organizations and businesses and things. Whereas the important stuff like doctors and teachers and scientists and stuff like that are paid for by the government, which are in debt or a shitload of money to a shitload of different banks and countries, and all they do is what little money they do have, they screw and kind of twist so that politicians get overpaid and get what they want and fuck everybody else. Well, so it's never going to...
Well, there's the thing. It's like we've been talking about how like Amazon has its own space program and Virgin has its own space program and Tesla and stuff like that. This sort of
the British Space Agency can only send a weather balloon.
This sort of proves the point of like NASA and like the UK Space Agency and all these national space agencies, you haven't heard them do anything big for ages. Like, they haven't done anything massively, like, critical or anything. And these billionaires are catching up and will probably overtake them in a few years purely because they have the funds to privately fund all of this research and all of this shit themselves instead of relying on government money and bits and pieces. So take the money away from all that shit, put it into useful shit. Like, I'm sure if Jeff Bezos got a year of his wages and shoved it into medical research, we could probably cure loads of random shit. Like this, all this COVID shit. If the government had the same money that like Bezos and like the Virgin and all the other millionaires and billionaires had to fund the research into it, I'm pretty sure we could have probably found cures and stuff for it a lot faster. Not cures, sorry, vaccines and stuff. Same as everything else. It just feels like it's like normal life. All the important things, all the actual useful stuff just seems to get ignored and pushed down the list and underfunded, and all the useless shit that is just there for hobbies or to show off or stupid shit like that just gets shoved up the list. It's ridiculous.
Anyway.
It is. It's completely and utterly ridiculous. And that's the issue about humanity. We are selfish. We don't give a shit about any other people. We only give shit about ourselves and making up money for our own. And this is why this podcast exists, to be played in space, so aliens know that how misanthropic the human race are, and not to come visit us. Or if you do come visit us, just destroy us.
Aliens already live in the centre of the Earth.
Oh, fuck's sake, Stefan.
Them's the facts.
Intrigue me. Go on.
Because the Earth's hollow, this is what I was saying to Cal before. So people in there, because the atmosphere is so good and stuff like that, and the conditions are better than they are out here, and you live in like on the underside of what we live on. Aliens live in there, and the people that live in there are probably about 15 feet tall-ish. Trees will be a lot taller, and that's where the Nazis went. Hitler escaped and went there with the Germans. So it's good Germans in there as well. And they've got like they've worked out like hyperspace travel and stuff like that, and they fly out the end because there's openings at the North and South Pole. They fly out the end and do stuff and that, but they don't want to contact us because we're just psychotic and dangerous.
Well, I mean,
and this was,
I mean, yeah, like just.
You broke Kyle.
Like
I said before, Kyle.exe has crashed.
I mean, I'm human, and sometimes I question whether I am human because of the stupid shit that humans do.
I thought you were going to say because of the stupid shit that I say.
Well, that too, but like,
thanks, dude.
I question if I'm the same species as some people on this planet, so I'm sure humanity branched off into different species. We just haven't actually given it the classification yet, because it's easier to just keep them under humans. Because in the past, we had all the Homo sapiens and all the different branches of humanity, and eventually one became the successor and is what we are now. I feel like we've sort of done that again, but it's very subtle. Like it's not as over the top as some of the deformities and bits and pieces like that. But I feel like we still have branched off.
How do you know that we are the better race? If there's two types of human,
we aren't.
Right? How do you not know? How do you not know that the other race of humans would turn out to be more successful? So they left the stupid ones up on the surface, and the intelligent ones end up with the aliens underneath the Earth.
Well, no, this is the thing, because isn't there scientific theory that our race of humans wasn't actually the supreme race of human. Like, we weren't the prime example of humanity. The only issue is that wasn't it something stupid like we managed to outbreed the smarter, or like we managed to like.
Yeah, well, okay. Before you go on,
it was some stupid shit of
Neanderthals. Neanderthals technically had bigger brains and were more functional than us. So probably, even though we think of them as thick and slow and they died out, they probably would have been better and more practical than us, and in some terms more intelligent. Their language wasn't as evolved as us, but maybe it would have been if they'd survived this long, and they were technically stronger than us. They were better humans than what we could have been, but we killed them out because we outbred them, basically.
And we killed them,
but we didn't.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
It was basically win by numbers.
Yeah, paint by numbers.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was him?
What we're saying
I'm still shocked that Kyle has admitted that he's human.
What we're saying is,
I
am not sure if I am fucking human, honestly. What we're saying is that we are going to go and question whether we are the prime human, but we're going to leave all of you other humans questioning every fucking thing that you've heard today, and we're going to love you and leave you with Jay running through all of our plugs, as he has done for the entire episode while he's here, because he's on a roll with it at the minute, and he knows which ones are actually up and running compared to the rest of where we just sort of guess which ones are still running half the time.
Because I am single-handedly running this company.
I mean, I do the host stories and stuff, and I would help out on some of the other aspects if I knew what the fuck I was doing with half of them.
And I've only, last week, where Kyle recorded a little bit by himself, is the only week I've actually missed, other than when we haven't recorded.
And Stefan did offer to come in on the weekend and record a little bit. It's just the fact of I was busy on the weekend.
I was just joking.
Yeah.
So,
Jay, we're just winding you.
If you like a job at Streptocide Productions as an unpaid intern to use our social media, please get in touch.
Is that what people call volunteers now? Because people don't like the term volunteer. It's now unpaid intern.
Oh, you're on maternity leave now. You can do it.
Oh God, Jay's just realised he can get his wife in on it.
Yep,
my wife. She's not my wife yet.
Well, future wife, you know what I mean.
Yeah, Jay's her wife.
I don't know if I'm going to survive long enough to be her future husband, because this past week I'm sure she has made attempts to kill me.
I mean, we all have
succeeded though. So.
I'm going to chuck you out of a plane just to see if you reach terminal velocity faster than Stefan, so you know.
Oh, thanks.
I will not work, because I am not average height for a human.
Jay, I'm worried because he didn't specify which one was going through the windscreen. Because that's what he was wondering. Would you reach terminal velocity even though you go through a windscreen first?
Well, no, there's also the question, because you've got weight difference and everything, so would you reach terminal velocity faster if you've got more weight? Would it actually come into the equation?
Is it a race? Because if it's a race, whether I'm going to die or not, I'll just streamline myself because I can't not win a race.
If it comes down to like weight and stuff, technically I'll be last. But the issue is that I've got less air resistance. So could it outweigh itself in that I'm the skinniest, so I wouldn't be going the fastest. But also I've got the least air resistance. Meanwhile, you guys would have more air resistance than me. So would it balance itself out? Would it, because I'm more aerodynamic technically than you two?
So technically, no matter what your size and shape generally, although you couldn't get an absolutely massive person onto a plane and you wouldn't throw a baby out, so there are variations. Technically, it'd be about 70 to 72 mile an hour for anyone, no matter their size and thing. But what I will say is, yes, you're lighter, and yes, you've got less of a gut, so you've got less like surface area in general. You'd actually probably have more or the same surface area because you've got longer limbs than us, so you'd create more drag with your arms and legs. So I reckon your drag or your surface area would be about the same.
But
because you're lighter, I think you'd be a little bit slower.
Would mine be more of a cutting motion through the air though? Like, because it would still technically be less.
It doesn't matter if you have if you imagine that every bit of resistance is a 1 centimeter square block, if you threw out a cube that is like 50 centimeters squared, or you throw out the equivalent, but it was
a tube.
Yes, it was all one line, it would still be the same surface area. It would still be the same amount of wind hitting the same surface. So the fact that you've got longer limbs would account for your smaller gut, I think.
Yeah.
It would also depend on like baggy gut and shit like that.
Radio.
Can I do it in a flying squirrel suit?
Yes.
Deal.
Radio.
We'll all jump out of the plane and then we'll just look at each other and wonder who's flying the plane.
Radio,
you two will,
ladies and gentlemen.
You'll leave me flying it, and then the next thing you know, I'll overtake you like a flying squirrel.
Anyway, thank you very much.
If you're listening to this podcast,
please buy us an aeroplane. Phone British Airways. Get the email.
If you're listening to this podcast and you would like a cup of tea or cup of coffee, whichever you prefer, we are now selling our exclusive mug, a TakenOffAir mug that's 15 ounces. 15 ounces of sweet coffee.
If it's 15,
right? So wherever you're,
if it's
15, ounce mug.
If it's 15 ounces, it's a coffee mug. So if you drink tea, go fuck yourself.
If you do drink tea, don't put honey in it. It just ruins the tea.
Oh, it ruins the honey.
I tried it at work today.
I've got
whether you're
stuff,
drinking your morning coffee, evening tea, or something in between whilst listening to our podcast, then this mug is for you. This mug brought to you by Us Mugs. It's sturdy and glossy with a phallic print that withstands microwaves and wash machines and whatever you decide to wash your dishes in.
Did you just say it's got a phallic print?
I mean,
I love when you said washing machine and he says phallic print.
I thought you said it was a phallic print.
He's reading from a script because I can see the little light in his eyes.
You can buy this mug
and put it in your washing machine.
Store exclusively on TakenOffAir.com/shop.
The stupid thing is, he's reading the item description that he probably wrote.
If you're not a coffee drinker, or if you had your own coffee and you want a new water bottle, you can buy a brand new water bottle with the TakenOffAir logo at TakenOffAir.com/shop. We also have some exclusive limited edition deals for handmade hoodies with fine line stitching of TakenOffAir embroidered on the left chest on our store. So new merch has dropped. More merch is going to be dropping with the next.
It's going to be dropping definitely if it's fucking handmade. Jesus, if it's homemade, sorry.
Find that out, because if you want to donate to us but you want something in return, go to TakenOffAir.com/shop. If you don't want anything in return because our designer's shit at his job and can't design a decent piece of clothing,
says the one who designed it.
Go to TakenOffAir. Go to TakenOffAir.com. In the top hand corner, if you're on a desktop or if you're on a mobile device, you should be able to see donate via Acast, where you can donate money to help us get this plane and a flying squirrel suit for Stefan.
Deal.
And the ship, so we can have races.
I will fucking... If somebody buys me a flying through... Well, fuck.
Tongue twister.
Somebody buys me a scry and floral suit in a plane, I'll do it.
If you want to watch us live, go to TakenOffAir.com/live, and you can see our beautiful faces whilst we record these episodes a week in advance every Friday between 7:30 and 8 o'clock.
Yeah, so you get the added bonus.
If you don't want to go to our website, you can go to twitch.tv/TakenOffTV to watch us every Friday. Or just go on our Facebook at facebook.com/TakenOffAir or Twitter at twitter.com/TakenOffAir. We don't even fucking use Instagram, even though Instagram is instagram.com/SweptAside Productions.
And you get the added bonus if you're watching me live, not just watching me live, but seeing the episode being recorded a week earlier than it's released, because we don't release straight away.
Yes, and you also get to see the beauty of Jay trying to screen share, then crashing out, then joining back in, and then saying he's screen sharing a letter to NASA, but actually just not screen sharing anything because it's not working.
I have a question about one of your merch, Jay.
You can also join in the conversation because on our Riverside.fm site we have a chat box. On Twitch.tv we have a chat box, so you can join in and you can be immersive in this podcast. This podcast is brought to you by us idiots. So go ahead with your question, Stefan.
What, when you cups and shit, are the dishwasher safe?
Yeah. No. Yes. No. The washing machine safe only.
Oh, I don't wash my dishes in the washing machine. I'll just do it in the sink.
That is making me wonder how much